Hi folks, welcome back to the Horde. So we're looking at 56 degrees Fahrenheit. It is Friday, the 3rd of April, 13.1 Celsius, and I guess it's somewhere around 6:30. Wow, time goes by when you're having fun. Let me show you what I'm up to. First of all, obviously, I think you guys could see it on the windshield there. It's raining. It's raining pretty good, as a matter of fact. And for us, our snow is virtually all gone. Right, if I bring you... Remember there was that pile of snow behind the three-wheelers there? That's gone. I still have a little strip there. You guys could see it along the woods line. That's all in the shade. Right, when the sun comes up and goes down, that really doesn't get blasted too good. Doesn't get much sunlight. Anyway, I wanted to get back on projects. I had like a bunch of trivia to deal with today. When I woke up, my son moved his car to Pennsylvania, and those of you who live in New York realize how happy New York is when there's a set of license plates they have issued to a car, and the car no longer has, the car had continuous insurance, and I was able to prove it to the DMV lady, but she was like annoying me that it didn't have continuous registration, and I'm kind of like looking at her saying, obviously, it still has registration because it has New York State registration that I'm just turning in the plates now. And she's like, no, you canceled the insurance. I said, no, we reinsured the vehicle in Pennsylvania, so it had insurance on it. And as a matter of fact, the insurance overlapped by a few days. So it's kind of like it had double registration on it. And she gave me a bunch of grief about wanting to see the Pennsylvania registration. And I said, the Pennsylvania registration is with the Pennsylvania car that now lives in Pennsylvania. You're in New York. What do you care? Here's your license plates back. And here's the paperwork to indicate that it had continuous insurance. She gave me a little more grief. I told her, here's some more snow to look at. I told her, I don't know what you're going to do about this. My son's out in Pennsylvania. You're going to send a cop out there to arrest him for having double insurance and double registration on a car. And she kind of haroomed a couple of times. And she ran the paperwork through. And she says, it was less than 60 days that this car has been registered in Pennsylvania. So we will not assess any penalty on your son. I'm like he cares. He lives in Pennsylvania now. We're going to suspend his New York State driver's license. I said, he doesn't have a New York State driver's license anymore. He has a Pennsylvania driver's license because he lives in Pennsylvania. Well, if he come back to New York and try to get a New York driver's license, we're going to suspend it. I'm like, well, that's just another reason for him to never come back to New York. Anyway, so it was a lot of fun with the DMV lady. To get the golf cart project going, these are what I'm going to be using as basically the rails. Those rails are going to go alongside the frame that's somewhat there, and all will be good, hopefully. But I'm not really working on that thing today other than getting parts. Working back on this thing. So if you guys remember from the last time I fired this thing up, it like runs a dozen beats and stops. It runs 24 beats and stops. So I'm figuring while I was playing with some of these components, I wasn't getting consistent spark out of them. Playing with them as in bench testing them, I wasn't getting consistent spark. So I replaced the pulsar. I replaced the magnet, I replaced the batteries in here, I replaced the plug, and let me show you what I got. I think you guys could see, kind of. I don't know. You might be looking at my butt. Yeah, you guys could kind of see. Kind of fires up for, you know, like a dozen beats. Doesn't respond to throttle. I was thinking it had an ignition problem, but now that I've changed everything that matters, I'm thinking more that it might just be a carburetor problem. Also, the plug I took out of there, that was a fairly new one. Really got messed up pretty quick. Right, and it got dirty pretty nasty pretty quick. So what I'm going to do, I rebuilt the carburetor on this. I think I put the carburetor back on that was on it. I just did a rebuild. Generally speaking, my rebuilds work pretty good. I normally don't have any problem with them, but sometimes it doesn't quite work out. It could be that there are passages clogged that I don't think are clogged. Normally, you take the jets out, those two brass jets, and you know they got holes in them. You make sure the holes are clear, and you make sure they pass through front to back. And I did that. But maybe there's something clogged up in the body. I didn't soak the carb or anything, so maybe I got something like that. Anyway, what I'm going to do is tomorrow I'll slam one of the eBay $25 clone carbs on there, and hope for the best. Had a bit of a scare with this thing. I went to take it out, and I walked up to it and took out my keys, and I went to push the button to unlock the doors. And lo and behold, no key fob on my keychain. Turns out the key rings, you know, the pressure rings, whatever you want to call them, that you hook the keys to. Well, the ones that went with the key fob were kind of crap. So the key fob came off, and I'm thinking to myself, oh crap, there goes another $100 bill to get a new key fob, or there goes, I don't know, $20. You get the clone key fobs on eBay, and then you spend a half an hour opening and closing doors and stepping on the brake and, you know, rubbing your head while throwing pennies out the window to program up the new key fob. But luckily I found it, so today's a lucky day. I feel as lucky as Musty One did when he found the wrench. His buddy brought back his favorite 10mm wrench that's all bent to heck, but Musty One likes it, and he got it back. That's the way I felt when I got my key fob back. It came with two, but I just as soon have two. Actually, I prefer to have two key fobs, or three key fobs and a spare key. So I got to work on that when I get a few moments. Anyhow, yeah, you guys can see it's already 6:30, so I'm going to be wrapping it up with this mess today. Yeah, I guess next is a carburetor thing. I show these videos not to burn up space on YouTube. I show them so that if people follow even somewhat regularly, they'll see that things don't normally work on the first try. I'm sure if you watch some of the people who build things, if you put a camera on them, you know, you'd have to put it on high speed mode while they're sitting down looking at it, and you know, kind of twisting and turning and trying to figure out how to make things work the best, and all. I have a tendency to show, you know, this is how it's running, and this is what I changed, and it's still running like that, so it's obviously not one of the things I changed. And when I finally do get to the right thing, which is probably the carb now, there's nothing else left, and it runs properly, you guys could see, oh, when it runs like that, maybe I should start with the carb first, not do the carb last. To me, once again, it sounded like an ignition problem. Still sounds like an ignition problem, not a carburetor problem. But kind of being in this enclosed place and running it, it is belching out plenty of nasty gas, unburnt gas. So it probably really is a carb problem. For those people who like to point out safety issues, yeah, there's enough of them here. But I also have a fire extinguisher, so if worse came to worse, I can put out the mess. Okay, guys, I want to thank you all for watching and commenting and subscribing. Remember to keep your feet down, keep your head up. See you soon, Stony. And remember to enjoy all your days. You know, go out and have some fun. Take care now, folks. Bye.